Hi, Algebra2ers. Let's go over the help board problems. I'm kind of disappointed. There's only, let's see, Ashley, Adrian, Chad that put problems on the help board this week. And I know you had to have the same problems. I see Shannon has some, but we didn't do that lesson yet. So you want to get your homework problems that you don't understand on the help board so that I can answer your questions. So hopefully everyone's watching this anyway. So let's start by going over. We'll start with lesson 39 and make our way down. So the first one is 39, number 5. So it's a distance problem. Chad has 2 distance problems on there. So they're a little bit different, so I'll do them real quick. So we're on lesson 39, number 5. I'll squeeze it in here. Jimmy and Gary ran from the disaster at 5 miles per hour. Then they reconsidered and walked back at 3 miles per hour. If they were gone 8 hours, how far did they run from the disaster? Okay, this is actually an equal distance problem. If you have a book with the little numbers on it, you'll notice it has number 22, so you could always go back and see what lesson 22 is about. So it's equal distance problems. So they ran away from the fire, so this is the distance running. And then they reconsidered, and this is the distance that they walked back. We have the rate of running, and we have the rate of walking. The rate of running is 5. The rate of walking is 3. And then the total time running plus the time walking equals 8. And this equation right down here, we need to solve it for one of the variables. It doesn't matter which one. The one that's left is the one we're going to leave in the equation that we're going to solve for. So these distances are equal. They're starting at the fire, running away, then coming back, same distances. So the distance running equals the distance walking. The rate running, time running, equals rate walking, time walking. So the rate running is 5. The time running is 8 minus the time walking. The rate walking is 3 times the variable that we're leaving in, which is the time walking. We just distribute this all through, such as this. 3 time walking, and we get 40 equals 8 time walking. And so the time of walking is going to be 5 when we divide both sides by 8. So they want the distance, always answer the question. So the distance walking is right here. So it's going to be the rate times the time. The rate walking was 3. And so we're going to take the 3 times the 5, the rate RW, TW. So we're going to get 15, and it's in miles, I do believe. Let's see. Miles. So 15 miles. Problem number 1 is done. You can always rewind these and watch them over again if I go too fast. You might even be able to slow these videos down. I'm not sure, but I think you can. Okay, number 7. Okay, this one was a little tricky. All right, for this one, I'm just going to go get myself a little bit more room here. Okay, so we have a triangle that looks something like this. It has a right angle up here, right? There's a right angle. It's a little, there's kind of right angle-y. And mine doesn't look so great, but you guys are used to that, right? Okay, here's my right angle, and this side is 13, and we want to find mx. Okay, and then we have a circle over here. Let me just put what number this is for us. Here's a circle. It has a radius in the circle of r. And the other thing that they give us is that the area of the triangle equals 52 feet squared. All right, now we have the base of the triangle, but we do not have the height, so we'll call the height h right here. So we need to find h because that is the length. Whoops, that's not what we want. Let me just back up just a little bit. We want this distance right, what do they want? MP. Never mind, this is the one they want. I didn't put the letters on it, so it threw me. This is H. They want MP. So this is M and this is P. All right. So we're going to pull out our formula for a triangle. Triangle formula says area equals 1/2 the base times height. They tell us the area is 52. So we know the base, so it's going to be 1/2 times 13 times the height equals 52. So usually we're trying to find the area, but this time they're giving us the area. So where the area is, you're going to put the 15. Here's the formula. The area equals this formula. I plugged in the 13 for the base. And when I solved for h, I multiplied by 2 and got 104 and divided by 13, and I got a nice number of 8. So the height is 8, which is also the same as MP. The second part of the problem says the radius of the circle is MP. So this is the radius is equal to 8. It's MP. So we're going to do area of a circle is pi r squared. So we put in the 8, so the area of the circle is 3.14 times 8 squared, which is 64. We pop that all into our calculator and we get our final answer of 200.96. And it's going to be feet, I do believe, feet squared. There we go. All right, so that's that one. So get that down. That was a little tricky. So you have to find the height because that's the side, and then you have to put that in where the radius is. All right, let's go back to the next one. We have number 11 and then 25. So number 11 is expand. So this is lesson 39, number 11. Expand, it's x minus 1 quantity cubed. So it's basically x minus 1 times x minus 1 times x minus 1. We can FOIL the first two, x squared. The mature way is you would do the outer and the inner. You would do x times negative 1 times 2. So it would be negative 2x plus 1. So you do first outer, inner, last. I added the outer and the inner and got negative 2x. And then we still have to take it times x minus 1. I like doing it the vertical way. I'm going to take the negative 1 times all three of these. So it's going to be negative x squared plus 2x minus 1. And then we're going to take the x times all of these and line them up in the appropriate places. So x times 1 is x. X times negative 2 is negative 2x squared. And then x times x squared is x cubed. And we just add these all up. So we get x cubed minus 3x squared plus 3x minus 1. And that's how you expand it. You're going to multiply it. The temptation, I think, for people to do is to say x cubed minus 1, cubing each of these, but that is totally wrong. It's the binomial times itself, multiplied times itself 3 times. Okay, and the final one is number 25 from that lesson. So again, we have lesson 38, number 25. All right, as I write this down, I'm going to change the mixed numbers into improper fractions. So it's going to be 9/4 x minus 7/2, do that first, equals negative 1/16. Common denominator is 4. We're going to clear the fractions because we have an equal sign. We can clear the fractions. So I'm going to multiply every term by 16. 16 for you, 16 for you, and a 16 for you. 4 goes into 16 4 times, so we're going to get 36x. 2 goes into 16 8 times, so we're going to get negative 56. And 16 goes into 16, and we're still going to end up with that negative 1 there. All right, and then we're going to get 36x, add 56 to both sides, and we're going to get 55. And our final answer is x equals 55 over 36. And that ends it for lesson 30. Whoops, this is lesson 39. Whoops, I said 8. This is lesson 39. All right, hopefully I did the right lesson. Let's go back and look. All right, so yes, 39. We took care of all of those. Yay. Okay, lesson 40. Nobody had any questions on that in the whole entire class. Okay. So let's go to lesson 41. We're doing 5, 15, and 17. So let's start out with 5. Lesson 41, number 5. That is another distance problem. We got to make friends with these, right? Okay. Larry and Shadid rode their motor scooter 16 miles per hour until Larry ran out of petrol. Then they walked the rest of the way at 4 miles per hour. If the entire trip was 76 miles and it took them a total of 7 hours, how far did they walk and how far did they ride? Okay, so this one is, they give us a total distance, so it's one where you're going to add the distances together. The total distance is 76 miles. So this is the distance that they rode, and this is the distance that they walked. So our equation is going to be distance rode plus distance walked equals 76. Distance equals rate times time. Rate walking, time walking equals 76. We're going to find that we know the rate riding is 16 and the rate walking was 4. And it took a total time, total walking plus total riding. This is almost like the last one, but a different type of problem, is 7 hours. Time walking equals 7 minus time riding. Then we just plug these little guys back in. So rate riding is 16, time riding is 7, is TW. All right, that's a little bit different. I solved it for something different when I was doing it myself. Let me just keep going from here. Rate walking is 4, time walking is 7 minus time riding equals 76. All right, and then we're going to get 16 time walking equals plus 4 times 7 is 28 minus 4 time riding equals 76. So 16 minus 4 is 4 time walking equals 76 minus 28, which is 48. Divide by 14, and I did something wrong. Yay. Okay, let's see what I did wrong. I did this earlier. I did it a little bit different. Time walking, time riding equals 7. This is time walking equals 7 minus time riding. You guys are probably looking at my mistake and seeing it so obviously. 16. Oh, I see. I see what I did. Let's go backwards. All right, I see it. Hold on, everybody. Just a little minor mistake. Usually if you get a fraction for these, you know that you did something wrong. This is going to be time riding plus rate walking, which is 4. Time walking is 7 minus time riding. There we go. Equals 76. So we get 16 times riding plus 28 minus 4 times riding equals 76. 76 minus 28 is still 48. And this is going to be 12. Now it's going to work. Time riding. So the time riding equals 4. So then we have to take the time riding times rate riding is 16. So that's going to be 64 hours. 64. We want the distance. So it's going to be miles. And then to get the rate walking, the distance walking, we're getting the distance. The distance walking, well, we're going to get distance walking right here is rate walking times time walking. So the time walking is going to be 7 minus 4. The time walking is 3 hours. So the distance walking is going to be 3. That's 3 hours. Times its rate, which is 4, is going to be 12 miles. And so these are the two answers. We're looking for distance, so you have to take your rate times your time to get your distance. Okay, and all that, I forgot what the next problem is. So now we have 15 and 17. Thanks, Chad, for supplying us with some problems to do. 15 and 17. All right, 15. Yay, I like these. Lesson 41, number 15. This is a quadratic equation. Quadratics you have to set equal to 0. This one's already set equal to 0. This looks almost like a difference of 2 squares, except that x there, it's not a perfect square. You'll notice there's an x in both terms, so we're going to take an x out, and we're going to be left with 4x minus 9 equals 0. Now we factored it. We set each of these factors equal to 0, and we solve them. This one's already solved. This one's going to be 4x equals 9, x equals 9/4. And that's the answer to that one. Okay, and the next one, number 17. All right, the area of the figure. This one's kind of tricky too. So we have some sort of triangular thing here. So, I'm just going to make it like this. And then we have a half a circle on here, which I'm going to have to draw. Looks like an ice cream cone, doesn't it now? On its side. At least mine does. Ooh, it doesn't look like that at all on the book. Okay. The radius of this guy is 2. We need to find the area of all of that. We know that this is also the radius. This is 2, this is 2, and it tells you that this is 4. So even though mine doesn't look like it, it's an isosceles triangle. So we're going to get the area of the half circle. So the area of a circle is pi r squared. We have, and it's going to be half a circle, so we're going to divide it by 2. That doesn't look like an A. We're going to get the area of the circle equals 3.14 times 2 squared, which would be 4 over 2. And the area of the circle is going to be, I guess I'll just put it in my calculator. We can cross this out and get 2. So it's going to be 6.28. That's the area of the half circle. All right, got that. All right, we don't need to put units in until the end. Now the more troublesome part is finding the area of this triangle. We don't have the base. So these are the same, the sides are the same even though it doesn't look like it. So if it's an isosceles triangle, you can drop a perpendicular bisector and it's going to divide the base into 2 equal parts. So this is going to be 1.5 and this is going to be 1.5. We need to find the height of the triangle because a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So I have to use the Pythagorean theorem to find this h. So remember, Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where c is the hypotenuse, which is the one opposite the right angle. So we'll plug it in, so it's going to be 1.5 squared plus b squared, that's kind of our h, equals c squared, so it's going to be 4. And so because, oh, never mind. C squared is already 4, so it's going to be 16. So we're going to get b squared equals 16. 16 minus 1.5 squared is going to be 13.75. And then we're going to have to take the square root of both sides. If I didn't make any mistakes, 16 minus 1.5 squared. Square root of that, second square root, is going to be, this is just the height. So b, which is the height, we just make that b, make it more consistent, is going to be 3.7. Now we have to find the area of the triangle. So the area of the triangle equals 1/2 the base, which is 3, times the height, which is 3.7, and we put it in our calculator. We get, let me just do that. 3.7 times 3 equals, divided by 2, is 5.56. Okay, so that's the area of the triangle is this, the area of the circle is this, and when we add them together, we get the total area, which would be 11.84. There's no units on it, but we would say units squared. And that's the final answer to that guy. All right, almost done. So we got, we did all of this lesson, we did all of this lesson now, right? Did we do 17? Yes. Let's go down 42, number 14. And this is it. Hardly any problems for me to do today. All right, here we go. Lesson 42, number 14. Negative 20x equals x cubed minus 9x squared. So we get 0 equals x cubed minus 9x squared plus 20x. Okay, this isn't quadratic, but anything with an exponent greater than 2 or greater than 1, you could say, has to be set equal to 0, and then you're going to factor. There's an x common in all of these terms, so I'm going to take it out. And then I'm going to factor the trinomial into two binomials. Now you're going to have as many answers as you have the highest exponent. So it's going to be x minus 5 and x minus 4. The last sign says they're going to be the same. What are they going to be? They're both going to be negative. So, and we would have to add them together to get the middle. We have three factors now. So we get x equals 0, x minus 5 equals 0, and x minus 4 equals 0. And you just solve these little baby ones. X equals 5, x equals 4, and x equals 0. And those are the three solutions. You have highest exponent of 3, and so you're going to have three answers. Sometimes you might have like a 0 and a 0 or 4 and a 4, but you'll still have three answers. All right, that ends it for our homework video for this week.